and welcome. You're watching Newsx and I'm Megha Sharma. India's Operation Sindoor success is for the world to see. After Newsx reported that 170 Pakistani terrorists were killed in the May 7 strikes, there are fresh details that have emerged from reports of the damage and the cost incurred on Pakistan by India's military strikes. As per a report in the Hindustan Times, Pakistan's so-called Bunya al-Marsoos operation launched at 1 a.m. on the intervening night of May 10th, lasted only for around 9 hours as India went in hard against Pakistan using an assortment of air-to-surface missiles. The report claims that the Indian Air Force has downed 4 Pakistani jets. The Indian Air Force has proof of its missiles downing one C-130J medium-lift aircraft, a JF-17 and 2 F-16 fighters on ground and in the air using both Scalp and BrahMos missiles in tandem. Pakistani forces have faced multiple damages starting from the Noor Khan Air Base in Chaklala, the Jacobabad Air Base in Balori, and the report adds that the Indian strikes took out a Chinese-made LY-80 air defense system using a Harpy kamikaze drone at the Lahore base, while an Indian missile took out the prized HQ-9 at Malir in Karachi during the 10th May clash with Pakistan. The damages on the air defense systems and the aircraft alone cost Pakistan $700 million, leaving alone the damage inflicted on the 11 air bases of Pakistan. This explains why Pakistan rushed to United States of America pleading for a ceasefire. I'm going to start my conversation. On the telecast with me is Wing Commander Satyendra Duggal. Thank you for joining me. And Wing Commander Duggal, the fact that this report mentions that Indian Air Force has irrefutable proof to the claim that there have been 4 fighter jets that have been downed by the Indian Air Force in its military strikes on Pakistan, including the F-16s as well as the JF-17. Would it be just a matter of time now when this information is put out in public domain by the Indian Air Force and all speculation, rumor mongering is put to rest?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Your voice is getting disrupted. Am I audible, please?
Okay, Major General I.K. Sivaj, if you can hear me and if you can respond to the same question about, rumor mongering right from the day of the military strikes that had been conducted by India and Pakistan coming out and saying that they had downed a number of Indian aircraft. What proof does India have about the F-16 and the JF-17s being downed by India? Now we have a report saying that there is irrefutable proof with the Indian Air Force that these fighter jets procured by Pakistan from China and from United States of America were actually downed by India during those very precise military strikes on Pakistan. Does this put end to all rumor mongering?
Absolutely, Megha, no doubt. It is irrefutable evidence which India has given. The point is in these 4 days, the type of beating Pakistan has got it, they will remember throughout their life. First, on the first night, what India had done it, India has basically able to hit on the 9 terror infrastructure and killed almost 100 terrorists and able to completely demolish the headquarter of Lashkar-e-Toba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and Hizbul Mujahideen, basically at Mudirka, Bahawalpur and Muzaffarabad. And when we have done this, we were intimated Pakistani that we were only going for a terror infrastructure. But Pakistani reacted, they basically trying to target our civilian and military installation, which are competent air defense system, neutralize their, all the missiles and drones.
Okay.
At the same time, when we hit their 11 airfields, that was a game changer. 11 airfield, including you starting from Skardu, it is Noor Khan, it is Sargoda, it is Rahim Ka Yar, and also Jacobabad. and in Balori we were able to basically destroy their AWACS also.
Yeah.
Overall, the damage which was done to Pakistan was approximately 30% of their infrastructure of these airfield was damaged, and this will take them 2 to 3 months to make it completely operationalized. Their 4 aircrafts were also destroyed or oblique damaged. That was C-13J Hercules, 2 F-16 and 1 JF-17. We have already given proof of that. So the Pakistani realized that they are not capable of taking on India in near future, and that's how the DGMO of Pakistan, in fact, initially they went to US. The US advised them they must directly speak to India, and that is how
Yes,
the DGMO
that's how
Pakistan spoke to
that's
DGMO
how the
India.
DGMO of Pakistan then used the hotline to dial up the DGMO in India, appealing for a complete ceasefire that India agreed to without setting any pre or post conditions. I'm going to come to you, Wing Commander Sudhakaran, about, I remember in the initial phase after the ceasefire was obtained, there were these certain individuals, I don't know, some French officials and some American officials who did not want to reveal their identity, did not really have any sort of proof, but some sort of source-based information, source-based quotes were being given by international, particularly, you know, the CNNs and the Washington Posts, and they had these articles writing that Indian Rafales had been struck, and Pakistan continues to sing the tune that there have been as many as 5 of these India fighter jets that have been struck. But here, what is important in such sort of information warfare play that is utilized by countries, it becomes extremely important, paramount to have proof, and this is exactly what is being spoken about, that the Indian Air Force does have irrefutable proof to justify the claim that there have been most definitely Pakistani fighter jets and AWACS that have been downed in the Indian military strikes. Now, what should be the next step taken by the IAF over here?
You mean you're asking about the steps from now on, or?
Yes, steps here on. In wake of all sorts of information floating, a lot of untruths being said and reported.
See, let us admit one thing, that India as a whole, we have lost on the narrative front, right? And this has been our Achilles heels for far too long. We have not got our information narrative right, and this is something to do with our infrastructure and our mindset per se. Like, we think that let us do our job and let's keep quiet, and the truth will come out by its own. But unfortunately, the world that we live in...
But then when you're fighting a war with Pakistan, or the number of terror attacks that have been perpetrated by Pakistan on India, every single time there is no accountability that is taken by Pakistan. Whether it is the 1971 war, where Pakistan surrendered 93,000 of its soldiers, but still claimed that it won the war. So when we're talking about information warfare over here and the narrative building, I mean, irrespective of whatever is fed to the world about what actually happened, Pakistan will continue to refute it.
See, there are 2 angles to it. That is what I'm trying to tell. So, the world sees us in a different light than we ourselves see. The world knows that if the monkey called Pakistan is taken out of our shoulders, then India will go at a pace which the world will not be able to digest. So Pakistan is seen as counter weight to you to actually stop your growth. And this didn't happen today. It happened way back in 1947. The line that was drawn to divide India and Pakistan had no basis. Like, Pakistan as a country never existed in history. The reason why that line was drawn, and exactly at that point where it was drawn, was a mischief by the colonizers, because they saw the white man plans 30 years ahead. We are talking 3 days behind. So let's understand that, put it into perspective. As far as the Rafale being shot down and things are concerned, everybody knows that it is not the truth, because see, it's not a small bird that you can shoot down and you can bury overnight. For shooting it down, you need a certain capability. The Indian Air Force had very clearly told that we had not crossed the border, which means that it was shot from a standoff range. The range that they are describing itself is around 100, 120, 150 kilometers. At that range, it is technically impossible to shoot down a Rafale unless and until it wants to get hit by itself. I can understand if it was one Rafale that they are talking about. They're talking about 5. So, sometimes there is some credibility to what they are saying. There is some misunderstanding, because the Indian Air Force also adopted a strategy and tactics of deploying decoys. So if the decoys were shot down and Pakistan wants to believe that it was Rafale, so be it, because there are reports now which says that there were at least 20 decoys which was in operation that night. And see, when you don't get anything to shoot from the Indian side, so be a decoy, and let me claim that to be a Su-30 or a Mirage or a Rafale or whatever it is, right?
And let's also be clear, I don't think anybody across the globe is believing what Pakistan has to peddle as a narrative that it goes about. We already saw that very that hilarious interview that went viral on CNN, on another British telecast, which I think it was being conducted, and the response of the Pakistani defense minister was, when asked about what is the proof of you having shot down those Rafales, he said it's all over social media.
But
and I don't think that narrative is being bought by anybody.
This narrative is still being peddled by the likes of Washington Post, the New York Times, the BBC, Al Jazeera, and we have to understand one thing. Yes, in India, nobody buys it. These channels are not watched in India.
I don't think it's being bought in Washington or in London or in Canberra as well.
Trust me, I had calls from my own friends.
It's understandable. I think what has worked for India is that these nincompoop ministers, heads of states who claim to be the spokesperson of Pakistan, well, they don't really have anything to say, which is actually the truth. So when they are lying, they are getting caught in their own web of lies. So when you are befuddled, when you're stammering and stuttering, say talking about, oh, I can't hear you, when they are being asked about what is the proof of you having attacked India. And in contrast, there have been satellite images after satellite images, before and after images that have been provided by India, that have been verified by the satellite agencies, the likes of Maxar, is when these organizations across the globe and people across the world and heads across the states in the world have gotten to actually understand what transpired in the span of those 4 days. I'm going to come back to you, sir, but let me get in my third guest into the conversation, Ravi Kumar Gupta. Ravi Kumar Gupta, here we saw, and it is heartening to know, I think this is a first of a kind initiative that has been made by the government of India. I have not seen this happen during the Uri strikes. I have not seen this happen during the Balakot strikes or the Pulwama attack and the action that was taken by India thereafter. Our foreign minister has travelled to all these 3 countries in Europe, and he has given print and broadcast interviews to the press outlets of foreign media. And he has spoken at length about India's response, which has been calibrated, precise and retaliatory against the terror attack that India was victim of on April 22nd. I think there's another shift in narrative that has happened, and that's very heartening to know, and the world is looking up and taking notice of it, that the new normal that has been set by India, that terrorists and states backing and sponsoring terrorists are not going to be differentiated between they are going to be termed as together, and India is going to retaliate, and it is going to retaliate strongly, as was the action taken by India on May 10th on those 11 air bases of Pakistan.
Yes, Megha, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. First of all, at the onset, I would very firmly state that I am in complete agreement with Wing Commander Sudhakaran has just now stated, right from the 1947, the birth of a hoax nation Pakistan, a terrorist state Pakistan, till date. Now, coming back to your answer, the question which you have asked, see, I agree that this time India has responded in a much better manner as far as at every front. As far as the technologies are concerned, our military is concerned, military might is concerned, our reach deep into Pakistan is concerned, we have unequivocally demonstrated that no place in Pakistan is beyond the reach of our forces. Having said that, and also at the same time, we have also reiterated that we are a peaceful nation. We did not provoke, we did not want a war. Pakistan started in Pahalgam, a heinous crime. So what they did in Pahalgam, I mean that, and it is not the first time it is happening. Ever since the birth of Pakistan, it has demonstrated that Pakistan is not a state, not a country. It is a conglomeration of a terrorists who are in uniform or without uniform, and a bunch of politicians, selfish politicians, who are not bothered about their own awam, and the people who are controlling right from the beginning, like as Wing Commander Sudhakaran said, the Britishers in those times, now Britishers, Europeans, and Americans. So basically, they don't. We are strong militarily. It is proven again and again, but unfortunately, we always keep losing when it comes to psychological war, when it comes to war of narrative, when it comes to information warfare. And mind you, the Pakistanis, everybody knows that they are telling lies. That is well known. But at the same time, because they are, who is the actual player? Actual player is the Americans, the Britishers, the Europeans. From that falsehood, they will pick up points and they will use against India. That is the game which has been going on right from the beginning. Everybody knows that Kashmir is our part. Then why it has lingered on for such a long, so many decades?
Okay, all right. Let me once again invite Wing Commander Satyendra Duggal. And Wing Commander Duggal, the fact that in each of the press conferences that have been held by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar when he was travelling to Netherlands, and he was in Denmark, and he was in Germany, his counterparts in all these three countries have come out and unequivocally supported India in its fight against terrorism and its right to strike the terror hubs in Pakistan. And that has been the outreach program that India initiated right after the April 22nd terror attack happened, where it started summoning envoys located over here in New Delhi, calling them to the South Block, the External Affairs Ministry headquarters, holding meetings with them on a daily basis, informing them about what has happened, and also intimating to them that India holds the right to strike the terror outfits, the terror organizations that are being given safe havens in Pakistan. So I think that's the narrative that India has wanted to send out. That's exactly why we have the delegations traveling to the 33 countries across the globe, sending out the message. And I think the effort and the attempts that have been made by the government of India this time around are much more and larger in capacities as compared to any time in the past. Whether we take a look at the 26/11 attacks that happened, where actually nothing was done. What we were actually doing was we were actually inviting ISI teams to come inside India and hold these meetings and do some quote-unquote investigations, which we knew nothing came of. What we were actually doing was providing them dossiers, giving them proofs, and actually requesting them to extradite Hafiz Saeed, but nothing really came of it. Do you think there is a change in India from then 2008 to an India in 2025?
As you rightly termed this exercise, the outreach program, we must realize that this is an unprecedented outreach program which has been undertaken by the government of India. This is unprecedented. It was never heard 2008, 10, whatever it is. Now let us go back to the basics. And your question was has the Pakistan Air Force strength depleted or whatever it is, the topic of the discussion today. As per my information, I can say that depleted, or it is modified, or it has been substantially impacted. How we go about it? Now, on both the sides, there are claims and counterclaims. And we must realize that these are unverified claims and counterclaims. These are not only to assess the losses on both the sides, but also to satisfy the people on both sides of the border. But however, the information says that before the start of the conflict, Pakistan Air Force had approximately 400 to 450 combat aircraft. Now, when we talk about the depleted, the word that you are using in the program, or modified or impacted, we must realize that there is an impact on four sides, four fronts. One is the fighter aircraft, and the second one is the support aircraft. The third one is the infrastructure, and the fourth is the logistic hub. One can very surely say that it has been impacted, and it has been adversely, the Pakistani side has been adversely impacted. How? See, they have approximately 75 F-16. Out of them, India claims to have downed a few of them. One Mirage version is not clear which version has been downed. That has been downed. Now, one is 17C Thunder has been put down. F-16 has been put down. IC-130 Hercules has been put down. And most important, which has been publicly acknowledged even by Pakistan, is that the AWACS has been put down. Now, India also claims that there are because of the strike on Noor Khan, Bhalori, Sargodha, Sukur, Rahim Yar Khan, these Air Force bases, approximately 40 aircrafts are BER. BER is a term Mega used to identify beyond economical repair. You can as much as assure yourself that they cannot come back to the flying zone. They are just gone, and probably their spare parts can be used here and there. So your program says that it is depleted or not. Yes, it is definitely depleted. There is no doubt about it. And the hangar has been depleted. The hangar at Noor Khan has been very badly hit. Rahim Yar Khan has been very badly hit. So, and the logistic structure is also destroyed. Logistic plays a very important role, of course, in Navy and Army also, but in Air Force it plays a very, very crucial role, whether it is the spare parts, or it is the fuel, or it is the ammunition, all those things. It is a very important thing. So the logistic hub has been very badly impacted. Though the Pakistan also claims that Jaguar has been, shot down, and Rafale has been shot down. And my information says that day before yesterday, I read in an online magazine, which is not an Indian magazine, it says that the French people have confirmed that one Rafale has been put down. So coming back to the basics as I started, that yes, the depletion has happened, the impact has happened, and definitely on both the sides, but much higher level on Pakistani side. They are never going to acknowledge it. It is going to be over a period of time, 4 years, 5 years, and we must realize that the conflict is still ongoing, and nobody would like to make this data public. I also read a report which was published by government of Kashmir in the occupied Kashmir. They released on the second or the third day a beautiful diagram they released, and they said that these houses have been hit, and these defense structures have been hit. I don't know how did it come on the online, whether it was a fake or whatever it is. So coming back to your question, that
Yeah.
yes, inflation has taken place.
Yeah, it has taken place. So again, the question arises that, when the IAF, as per this newspaper report, who has released data, says that the Indian Air Force has verifiable proof to make these strong statements. Now we understand that when there's a sea of a difference when Pakistan makes a claim that it has felled Indian Rafales versus when India makes this statement saying that Pakistani F-16s and JF-17s and the AWACS and the HQ-9s have been destroyed by India. We always back our statements with proofs, as has already been showcased to the world, and Pakistan has had to accept that simply because it did not have a choice. So again, here's the next step. Do you think in the course of the coming days and weeks we will get more information by way of, I don't know, images or some sort of debris that has been collected by the armed forces, by the security forces on the ground, that will give us a clearer picture of all that happened on the intervening night of May 10th and 11th?
See, these claims, as I said in the closing statement, that it will take a lot of time to come out. The verified claims will take a lot of time to come out, not less than 3 to 4 years, because they will come out through their own sources, through their own case studies and all that. Of course, the research and analysis wing and our NIA plays a very crucial role. If they can identify 9 specific targets to be hit without hitting mosques and without hitting schools, we can depend on their information, but nothing has come out from NIA and Research and Analysis Wing, which is headed by Mr. Duval and their group, and nothing has come out. So these are only assessments being made because of the images which have been captured on both the sides. Yes, there is lack of credibility on part of the Pakistan, because we have seen over a period of time, not only by the Indians, but by any country, 5 or 6 big countries, they don't believe what Pakistan says unless until they themselves are verified. So Pakistan Air Force has definitely defeated more than what the Indian part is. One more issue that I would like to highlight here is Pakistan has been depleted. I'm not talking about the numbers. I don't want to talk about the numbers. But Pakistan has been badly hit, is seen and observed from the disturbed language, body language, and the diplomatic language of Chinese and Turkey.
Okay.
They have been disturbed. Turkey particularly has been very disturbed, and China also has been disturbed, and they have been trying to build alternative sources of logistic channels to Pakistan. That means that they have been badly hit. They have even said that our reputation of our aircrafts being hit is at stake now. So that means the Chinese aircraft have been hit. And their own reputation is at stake.
Yeah, I think on that note, even yesterday, the Russian President Vladimir Putin also made a public statement talking about the viability and the prowess of the Russian military equipment, not really naming the S-400s or the other military equipment that is provided by Russia to India and its success in the conflict between India and Pakistan, but at the same time making a statement very clearly that the Russian military equipment has been accepted, its prowess, its utility has been accepted, tested, well verified, and therefore they are more in demand. Is obviously a sales pitch that the man was making, but we can put 2 and 2 together and figure out where that statement came from and why he made such a statement. All right, I'm out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast, and thanks for watching Newsx.